Here we go. And if you're in the chat, predictions are now open. Place your bets on how you believe the series will unfold, on whether it goes the way of the Terran or the way of the Zerg. Up to you to decide. As spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Golden Aura, we have our South Korean Zerg player, the Red Zerg, representing Team Vitality. It is Solar. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the Chinese Terran player, the Blue Terran, representing Mystery Gaming. It is CranKy. Here we go. And again, predictions are open. So best of luck in the chat. So we are going to be settling in. So chat. Hey, nice to see you streaming. How crazy was Cyril's run yesterday? Yeah, Cyril, he was looking very impressive. If you remember, because I was co-streaming day 2 in the lead up to the quarterfinals and the semifinals, Oliveira looked crazy good against Raynor. I remember saying that Oliveira, he looked like he had like top 2 TBZ in the world. Like, he was looking more impressive than, like, I don't know, than some of our other top Terrans in StarCraft, in the TBZ matchup against Raynor. He was looking crazy. Like, I got chills. Like, if you remember, I was in awe. I was in shock and awe watching Oliveira versus Raynor. And I was really looking forward to his series against Cyril, and his series against Cyril did not disappoint. Again, Oliveira, the only player to pose a threat to Cyril. It was really impressive. And I was just, I don't know how it's to put it, but I was just really impressed by Oliveira that weekend against Raynor and against Cyril. And even before that, against the other Protoss players in the earlier stage. Oliveira really popping off, and I'm so happy to see him doing well, especially because I feel like after IEM, I mean, he's still our reigning world champion, but after IEM, because of visa issues and because Oliveira wasn't able to compete in DreamHack Yongshipping and he wasn't able to travel to Home Story Cup, like, because Oliveira wasn't really able to compete too much after that, he kind of had a bit of a slump, definitely. I think he said it himself, and a lot of people, like, would talk him down, would be like, oh, you know, Oliveira, he was like a one-hit wonder, you know, he like won one tournament and that's it, you know, like he doesn't compare to some of these other Terran players. And yeah, I feel like his performance that weekend, you know, puts his doubters to shame a little bit. So yeah, I was really happy to see that. He was honestly looking insanely good, like one of the best in the world, 100%. Oliveira really turned it on. So I would say that was my biggest takeaway from DreamHack Dallas is watching Oliveira. It was really cool to see him. Like Cyril, he was the favorite player coming in, so no surprise there. But for Oliveira and not Maru to be the one to like really threaten Cyril was really cool. It was my favorite storyline of the weekend. But yeah, now we're back. We're focusing on ESL Open Cup Asia. It is going to be a 3cc before Starport. Economic build by CranKy. Meanwhile, Solar getting his third base up and running, opening up Hatch Gas Pool into his third. Standard build so far out of Solar. Economic build out of CranKy. Meanwhile, the tech lab is done, and we are not going for an add-on swap. Interesting. We have a Viking on the way. We're getting into early Marauder production. This looks like a 3cc Hellbat push. I'm curious if an armory is going to be thrown down as we're building up Hellions and Marauders over anything. And you can see that we're hiding those Marauders as well, rallying them behind the mineral line. So we're keeping those Marauders hidden for as long as we can. And I'm waiting for when they do move out. For when we pull the trigger. Overlord dips in. We have started Concussive Shell. Overlord confirming that it is not a Banshee base opener, confirms the third CC. But again, this is a very cheeky build. Everything here looks normal. Everything here looks very economic, but we've kept those Marauders hidden, and there it is. We're waiting for the armory, and the armory has been thrown down. It is going to be a 3cc Hellbat push. Now, because this is a 3cc build, this is not all in. This doesn't have to kill, but this does have to trade well, is what I should. And it can kill. Like, if Solar is too greedy, if Solar is cutting too many corners, if he drones up too much, if he doesn't have enough of a force to work with, as... Ooh, he's following up double Evo Chamber. What does this mean? No Bailey Nest. He goes double Evo Chamber, which means the lair is delayed, the Bailey Nest is delayed, which means he only has Link Queen to defend. This is ideal for CranKy. And can Solar pull off the defense? How many queens do we have? We have 8 queens in total. The queens are spread out between the bases. And we need to bring all the queens together as the armory is about to finish in a couple of seconds. Marauders have arrived, and Solar does spot this. We're diving in. We do catch a queen. Oh, just barely not. The queens are no. A bit of a miss rally. 2 queens that get thrown away. This is dangerous. This is brutal. 2 queens go down instantly, and Solar, he's in trouble. Pulling together everything he has. The Spore will go down. Medevac pulls back. Ooh, nice hot pick up there from Coffee. Medevac has to be very careful with the queens are falling one after the other. Link's coming in from behind, but we have Hellbats. We have Hellbats in position. And we are getting on top of the third base. The third is looking to go down. Oh, the Medevac taking a lot of damage. Does take a lot of hits. We get another queen. Medevac goes down, but the Lings are being cleaned up. And Coffee, has he done it? Has he broken through? Second Medevac has arrived. Yeah, the Lings get cleaned up. The queens are so low. We have 5 queens left. Oh, down to 4. More queens on the way. We haven't done economic damage yet, though. The drones are still alive. And we are running out of steam. The Hellbats are getting low. Medevac barely saved once again. Good juggling from Coffee. We're still on 4 queens. Spore doesn't quite burrow. And it looks like Solar, he's barely forcing this back. Spore goes ham. Medevac goes down. Boys are being pulled. The hatchery will fall. We barely get the base, but we don't kill many drones. God, that was so close. That was such a close defense for Solar. It looked like everything was going well for Coffee. Everything was going right. I mean, Coffee did get the base, but look at this. Only 2 drones died. Those workers got very close to going down. They got so low. If we had gone into the middle line, if we had killed all these drones, it'd be game. 100%. It would be game then and there. But Solar, he preserves his worker count. He's double expanding, but he's down to 2 bases. Solar, he still took damage. Lost a lot of queens. How many queens was that? 6 queens went down, 71 Lings. And Coffee has a 3rd. Remember, Coffee wasn't all in. He is transitioning out of this. Into his 3rd base, into his expand. Whew, oh, I need to breathe, Papi. I need to breathe. Here we go. Coffee is going to be threatening a push, but he's going to be pulling back again. Coffee's expanding, saturating his 3rd base. The game will settle down from here. Like, we can breathe, Papi. We can breathe. 1-1 is about to kick in. We're working towards Bailing's speed. How about super forward, and the Bailings are here to defend. Do we get a decent split? But a lot of Hellbats do go down. And can we break through? More Bailings are on the way. And it looks like they will finish up just in time. Yeah, Solar, he will hold on. Bearing in mind as well that because of this push, our upgrades were delayed. These E-bays and upgrades are a little bit later, which means Solar has the upgrade lead. That is not something you see too often in ZvT because of how committed the Hellbat push was. We are just trying to hold on, trying to stabilize. So once again, we do rotate in, threatening the 4th base. But this time we have Ling Bane to defend, and Coffee is being forced back. Again, Coffee just trying to harass as much as possible. Trying to trade as efficiently as he can. Gets a couple of Lings. Gets a couple. Oh, does target fire the Bailing as well. Very nice. 3rd base is up and running. 4th CC now on the way, and Coffee is moving out with the split push. He's got his main army on the left. He's got his drop on the right. We are moving in. Are moving in, and can Solar keep up as he attempts to expand? And we could just force the cancel here and now. Yeah, Sims in, going for the hatchery. Does force the cancel. Pushing up the ramp, but we do have some Ling Bane in position. Widowmines are sieging. They are burrowing. Up! Ooh, big mine shot. A lot of Ling Bane goes down. Solar, he's in trouble. Same time, drop on the right-hand side, keeping the queens busy. Without the queens to defend, this main army can break through. We have more Banelings in production. Coffee, we gotta send it. We gotta go. Oh, as we do take things slow. And more Banelings on the way. Widowmines, they will burrow. And once again, not the connections we were looking for. And Solar is forcing this back. Just in time, we have backup Banelings. And Solar does hold on. As I say that, we're still rallying across the map. CranKy still trying to force the issue. Drop into the main. Going for the tech. Links are in position. And Queens are rotating over. Very nice target firing, but one Bailing gets in. Bailing does get in. Still a back and forth, but you can see Solar now eclipsing his opponent in supply. Things were quite close, but now Solar is stabilizing with more Ling Bane trying to get a 5th base, expanding on the right-hand side. He is taking his expansion. Likewise, CranKy also getting into his 4th. Again, CranKy is keeping up economically. CranKy, even though he's down in workers, he has mules, so that does make up for that. So economies are pretty comparable. Good kiting here, good stutter stepping on the Bailings, but is forced back. Good focus fire is what I meant to say. As we're getting into Liberators, and again, CranKy is so aggressive, just refusing to back up. Does refuse once again sieging up. Pushing in now with Liberators, going for the ramp, going for that choke point. At the same time, there's a planetary at the 4th. The Ling Run-By does nothing. Ling Run-By is deterred. Bailing's crashing into Marauders of all things. Not an efficient trade, but we have more Ling Bane where that came from. Hydras have spawned in. Ooh. But again, this choke point is brutal. Solar trying to force his way down the ramp, but it looks like the Bailings, they connect. Ooh, big connections. Bailings, they crash into the Marines, the Hydras, they get on top of those libs. And they will focus them down. Solar is holding. We do have more Marine Marauder rocking up, but now no more Widowmines, no more Liberators. This army does pose less of a threat. As we do need Bailings. God, CranKy is so heavily stimmed. His army overstimmed. Try to break through. Solar getting his 5th base up and running. Very important here that he does maintain his economy with that base. Ling Run-By coming in. Does catch reinforcements, but we do have a decent amount. Yeah, the Marines are going down. And CranKy is forced back home. Finally, Solar can breathe. You can see there, CranKy just scanned. He just scanned, does confirm the base. He was hoping he was denying the 5th. If he was denying the 5th base, he could keep this going. But now he has to rotate around. He has to rotate around. The 5th base that much more secure. We have creep in position. Pushing in is not going to be easy. Not going to be easy as we do stim forward. Catching a couple of Hydras. Not bad. Vipers have arrived for some Blinding Clouds. Mine shots going off. We do Blinding Cloud that tank. But there's not that much Ling Bane left over. Oh my god. Just barely another Blinding Cloud. The tank does go down. CranKy denied on the left-hand side. Again, he's trying to split apart the attention of Solar, trying to break his attention here, but alas, not able to. Force back. Whew. Solar can once again breathe. Again, the fact that Solar got this base up and running is huge. And he's holding his own. Now we have Hive Tech. We have Hive Tech, not just Vipers. The Lurker Den, Lurkers are on the way. You can see that Solar, he is now eclipsing CranKy in terms of tech, in terms of the quality of this army. Now with Lurkers, how do we push in? Can we push in? The answer is we cannot. Lunkers have arrived. We deny the 5th base. Its CC is cancelled. It's going to be cancelled. We see the drop still trying to find a way in, but these Lurkers, the positioning is just a little bit too good. Ling Bane diving forward, catching a tank. And Solar now taking the fight to CranKy, fighting out on the map, cleaning this up. CranKy barely escapes. And now Solar, he's maxing. Like, again, this aggressive style and aggressive nature out of CranKy was almost enough to break Solar, but almost is not good enough. Not against Solar. As Solar's now maxed out. Again, he's now just surpassing and snowballing out of control. But this was an impressive game from CranKy. As he's going for the base. Does get the hatchery, but it costs him everything. The Banelings crash in, the army crumbles, and Solar, he's going for a massive counterattack. We catch a tank. Oh, almost. Hot pickup. Does save the tank. Lings rolling in. Mine shots not looking too bad. Mine shots on the Lings, on the Baylings. But the base has been broken. Third base forced to lift, going for the reinforcements. Billy Bane snowballing out of control. GG gets called, and Solar takes game number 1. Whew. GG, but that was not the cleanest of games. Solar takes the first game after surviving the aggression of Coffee, but again, Coffee, he was so close to breaking Solar. There were a couple of moments here and there, whether it was killing the drones, whether it was preserving the medevacs, whether it was engaging a little bit better against the Ling Bane. So many minute details where if one or two things had gone Coffee's way, maybe it's a different game, right? Maybe if he had scouted the 5th base earlier to know where to push in and where to deny the bases. So much came into that. GG, Solar takes a lead, but that was a game. that was some StarCraft, man. That was beautiful. GG. Again, Coffee is feisty. Ready to go. Ready for this finals. There's a reason why he made it to the grand finals. There's a reason why Coffee took down Showtime in those semis. I mean, outside of the fact that Coffee had the ping advantage, true, but still impressive nonetheless. As we sink our teeth into the rest of this series. Let's go. It's catching up in the chat. Oh. So diving into our next game and spawning in the top left-hand corner of Oceanborn, we have our South Korean Zerg player. The Red Zerg representing Team Vitality, leading the series 1-0, but it's a best of 5. Plenty of games ahead of us. It is Solar. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the blue Terran player. The Chinese Terran representing his team Mystery Gaming. It is Coffee. Coffee down in this series, but again, it's a best of 5, plenty more games ahead of us, and I'm curious to see what kind of builds Coffee whips out next time. As a reminder, winding it back, it was a 3cc 1-1-1 build from Coffee, and remember, Coffee was able to successfully hide the armory and hide his Marauder production. He lured Solar into a false sense of security, made it look like he was macroing when really, I mean, he was, but he was also building up towards a Hellbat push. That Hellbat push almost broke Solar, and it wasn't just that, but even the follow-up bioaggression had some decent success as well. Coffee was trading well. He was trading well against Solar. Eventually, he ran out of steam, right? Eventually, the aggression subsided and Solar could breathe and stabilize and get into Hive Tech. But it was a rocky road. It was a rocky road for Solar. And we'll see what else Coffee has in store for us. I'm ready. I am ready. Here we go. As for now, it's going to be a Rex Expand. Rex Expand here from Coffee. Likewise, Solo going for a Hatch Gas Pool. Standard opener so far. Nothing out of the norm yet, but we'll keep an eye on our players. Likewise, I know we're focusing a lot on Coffee, but even Solo can be aggressive here in this matchup, a little bit less so than other players, right? When I talk about the Korean Zerg players, when I think of aggressive, just aggressive Zergs in Korea, I think of Dark, I think of Shin, I even think of DRG before Solar. Solar, he's like one of the more European Korean Zergs, if that makes any sense. He's a little bit more standard, a little bit more macro-oriented, more of a reactive player than anything. More so than the other Koreans, I should say. Still can be quite aggressive himself, but when you compare him to Dark and Shin, like it's hard to compare. So we'll keep an eye on Solar. Reaper dipping in. Oh! Threading the mineral line and doesn't quite get enough done. The drones will survive. Queen will fend this off. Third base is up and running. Coffee does cause a bit of chaos here, but is going to be forced back. And across the map, third TC. Third TC is on the way before the starport. Economic build. I mean, technically it was also a 3cc build in the last game, true, but so we'll keep a closer eye on Coffee. There's Yadon swap into Helium production. Starport's on the way. We should be seeing a tech lab on that Rax. We'll keep an eye on that production. As Reaper dips in. Oh. And does overextend! Yeah, a little bit too greedy there by Coffee. Got a KDA charge and wanted to go even further. Coffee gets shut down. Meanwhile, there is that tech lab on the racks. It is a little bit of a delayed tech lab, so we might not go for the add-on swap. We'll see. We'll see if we go into Banshee production or not. There it is. Oh, actually was lined up quite nicely. Never mind. I thought it was a little bit late. It does line up. There's the add-on swap into Banshees. Okay. So it is going to be 3cc Banshee, a very standard build from Coffee. Like, this is as meta can be. Going into Cloak Banshees, this does keep you safe against roach play, does allow you to be a little bit more aggressive and harass across the map. With our combination of Hellion Banshee. As Coffee has gained map control. Meanwhile, Solar, his goal here is to keep up with the Hellions and the Banshees and to deny any kind of damage, to preserve his workers. So far, our queens are keeping up, creep is spreading. We're holding our own. Overlord Scout does confirm the third CC, and we're going for the production. Do we get eyes on the researching tech lab? We see the Banshee. That's good enough. We do spot the Banshee, and we don't spot the tech lab, but spores should be thrown down. We saw enough. Yeah, there it is. Spores on the way, in the natural. In position to deal with Banshees. We'll see if Coffee can get more damage done. Unfortunately, Coffee just wasn't able to deny that scout, so going for additional Raxes behind this. Setting up on 3 Raxes, soon to be 5. Spore in the main, and Spore at the third. So 1 Spore in each mineral line. Solar not cutting any corners. Being as safe as possible. Will lose a lot of creep, at least. It's a lot of tumors going down. Again, that's what these Hellions do grant you, map control, to be able to bully back the creep and to keep the Zerg player in check. Ooh, and that is going to be a lot of Raxes on the way, actually. We're settling into our 5 Rax setup. 5 Raxes so far. And we'll see if we throw down additional Raxes and if we do not take our gases. There are better maps for A-Raxing. So we'll keep an eye on Coffee to see if he does go all in. As Banshees, they do slip behind the bases into the main. But there's a Spore there. Queen's in position. Can we get some drones? Oh, we're going for the Queen. And we will... one of us! We will not get the Queen. It barely... Oh, no! We came back. The Queen does go down. We catch a drone as well. Not too bad. As the Banshees will escape at the same time. Hellions marauding around. Getting eyes on the 4th. Solar has droned up and did in fact throw down the Roach Warren. So Solar is going to be playing Roach Ravager in game 2. Infestation Pit is Baneliness is spotted. As of course Coffee is playing Bio. So it's going to be Ling Bane, Roach Ravager, and a Solar. Just a very safe way to play. Going for early Roaches like this does keep you safe against like early pushes. Early aggression. It doesn't scale amazingly into a longer game, which is why we're working not on range upgrades, but on melee upgrades for the Ling Bane. So that does scale far better than the Roaches. Meanwhile, we're settling into our 3-base setup. Settling into... Oh, how many Raxes is that, by the way? I see 8 Raxes, no additional gases, no second factory. This is the beginning of a 3-base all-in from our Terran player. What I'm referring to here is that basically you throw down 3 extra Raxes here, so it's 8 in total. No add-ons, no gases. Oh, I say that add-ons are being thrown down, which means we might actually throw down some gases. No, I may have spoken too soon here. But we do have our A-Rax set up, and we haven't taken gases yet. No additional factory either, so we could just be doubling down. I say that triple tech lab on the way. We're getting into Mass Marauder. I mean, against the Roaches, that will help. We'll see. We'll keep an eye on Coffee. As there is no 4th CC. There is still no 4th base. Still no additional factories. So this is a different variation of 8 Rax with all these tech labs going into a more Marauder heavy composition. As he does deny the 5th. 5th base is cancelled. 2-2 on the way. Cuts of Shell. Interesting. So this is going to hit a little bit later. Coffee is building up a little bit more by mixing in those Marauders. Again, most likely because he scattered the Roach Ravager. Ultra Caverns all the way for Solar. Hive is done. Ultra Tech on the way. Coffee is running out of time. We gotta go. And here it is. Here comes that 3-base all-in. So it is still an 8 racks, but it's a different variation, just with more Marauders, which will help against Roaches and Ultras. It's all or nothing for Coffee again. No 4th base, no additional economy. One massive push. And we'll see if we can break through. Again, we have 13 Banelings on the way. How well can we split? How well can we spread? So far, Banelings crashing into a couple of Marauders, a couple of Marines. Not a bad start, but ooh, we take down a Banshee and a tank. Solid files there from Solar. And catching good chunk of bio as well. Ooh, Coffee gets surrounded. We're bleeding off too much. We're bleeding off too much here. But we're also running out of Link Bane as Solar has to back off. Biles, not quite connecting. Nice splits. Does avoid those biles. This hatchery on the low ground is going to be going down, but Solar, he's amassing his army. More Ling Bane on the way. And Coffee's running out of steam. Again, Coffee doesn't have the best economy behind this. He can sustain himself a little bit, but he has to trade as efficiently as possible. Gets a Queen. Vipers have arrived. We have Hive Tech. The Blinding Clouds are brutal, and Solar is going to shut this down. Collapse on top of these tanks. Every tank goes down. And Coffee is being chased back. Again, we usually hit before Hive Tech really gets underway, but with the Vipers, we shut this down completely. And now Solar is snowballing out of control. Again, Coffee was all in. Completely, and Coffee is holding on to the ramp at least. But Solar, now with Ultra Tech, kind of splaining on the way. Not like this. We are chasing Coffee back. Forced to pick up, forced to get the hell out of here. 3-3 is on the way. Coffee still refusing to expand. Coffee forced to lift up his main. So this is how you continue a 3-base all-in. An 8 racks like this is you lift up your main, you take it as your 4th to maintain your economy, to keep your push going. Oh, but the Ling Bane, and we're coming in from both angles. Ultras as well. We bow down the tank. And Coffee just cannot keep up. Not anymore. Vipers coming in, going for the parasitic bombs, going for the Medivacs. Nice split, but GG gets called, and Solar takes a 2-0 lead. 1 game away from becoming our champion. GG. Whew, GG, well played. Again, a very interesting style here out of Coffee. Again, an 8 racks variation, a 3-base all-in variation from Coffee. Unfortunately, it did hit a little bit too late there. Again, Solar, he already had Vipers on the way. He had the Ultra Cavern on the way. Solar was able to embrace that Hive Tech as the push took a little bit too long. It was also unfortunate that, I should update the score, but it was also unfortunate that Solar caught a good chunk of bio early on, if you remember, on the left-hand side. He caught a massive chunk of the Marines and the Marauders ahead of time. Again, was able to slow down the push, pile down the tanks. Very nice defense there out of Solar. And now we're getting into Game 3, potentially the final game of the tournament. Potentially. Here we go. We're diving into our next game and spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Alkion, and we have our Red Zerg player representing Team Vitality. 1 game away from taking it all. Ooh, going for a 15-15. Okay, playing it very safe. We have Solar. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the Blue Terran player from the land of China representing Mystery Gaming. It is Coffee. Go. We go. As we are studying it again, it's going to be a 15-15 opener here out of Solar, 15 hatchery into the 15 spawning pool. It is just a way to get earlier queens, earlier lings. It does mean that your gases are going to be late. Basically, our gas is going to be quite late and late ling speed, but Solar will be safe against something like a proxy. So if Coffee went for a proxy or even went for 2-Rax Reaper, which, good read. Good read from Solar. If he went for 2-Rax Reaper, then Solar will have plenty of queens to defend. as 2x Reapers on the horizon. Now, this is not an all-in. This will lead into an expansion, but the goal of 2x Reaper is to deny the third. Is to deny the third base and delay the economy for as long as we can. Solar, though, with his queens and with skipping lings, I'm sure he's going to be content to stay on 2 bases a little bit longer and take a delayed third base instead. We'll see how this all comes together. As the Raxes are finishing and Reapers are on the way. Here we go. So now we have our Reapers in production. Reapers in production. It's going to be triple Reaper here from Coffee into our expansion. Again, this is not an all-in. We're just going to be expanding back at home. And this should just be 3 Reapers. Again, we invest into additional Reapers if Solo was to try to be greedy and expand. Otherwise, just 3 Reapers is all you need. First Reaper has arrived, testing the waters. And trading against Lings. We did force out Lings as well. Not bad. And we check the third base. There is no third, and Coffee can work on his transition. I say that we do have a 4th Reaper on the way. 4th Reaper is in production. We're checking the linear third base, confirming that there's nothing there. And it looks like we are allowing that 4th Reaper to complete. Behind this, going into our 3CC. 3CC follow-up, very greedy economic build, or economic follow-up here by Coffee. And again, all he wants to do is just delay the third. Just contain Solar, delay the third base for as long as we can. We don't need to get drone damage, we don't need to risk things too much. As Coffee does dance with the army, again he threatens that drone, dipping in. So we do pull back. Oh, even catching some of these queens off of creep. Oh, and 1 queen gonna go down. Big pickoff already, big delay on the third base. That was a misstep there from Solar. Queen should not have gone down. Oh, and we are going to be asking for a bit of a pause here. Looks like we have an issue. Of course, we can resolve it. Oh. And Solar is referring to the queen. Oh no! Wait. Solar saying that the queen is stuck. The queen! This queen got grenaded over. Ay. Was it the grenade or did it walk in? I think it was the grenade, right? But the queen is, it can't do anything. No shot. And now we can pick up another queen. Second queen goes down. Ay. Dead supply here behind the gas. Not like this. Oh my god. Not like this, Bobby. As Ling speed kicks in and Coffee will be forced out. Finally we can expand, but feels a queen, man. That's a first. Oh my god. Yeah, it feels bad. Oh, can we force it out with the gas? We can't take the gas. No, we can't even take the gas. No shot. I would have to check the replay on that, but I'm pretty sure it was KDA charged into that position, right? That is brutal. I haven't seen that before. And clearly neither has Solar. Ay. And from here, Coffee, he's going to be, again, settling into his 2-base setup. SCVing up. Hellions have arrived. I mean, we could just put this queen out of its misery, I guess. We're going to have to make a drop-a-lord to save the queen. No. As Coffee, again, he's going to be macroing out of this, settling into his 2-1-1 setup. Stim is on the way. We have a medevac transition. Again, I should have emphasized this. It's going to be 3CC 2-1-1, working towards the Stim timing. Only 4 Hellions for Coffee. Or, sorry, 6 Hellions. Never mind. Made extra. Getting up to 6 Hellions. Being active. As we do calm things down, Liberator harass here in the natural base. 2 drones will get picked off. Headed for the third. And it looks like we won't quite get a queen. Oh, getting close. Liberator is cleaned up. Liberator is going to be cleaned up here, as here comes the stim timing. Stim is done. Here come our Marines. Not quite 16. Hellbats are morphed in. My apologies, I was a little bit distracted, but the armory was not I didn't quite notice the armory. But a very interesting follow-up Hellbat push. We're going for the Queens. Ooh, and we're not ready for this. No Baliness, no Bailings. The Queens are being focused down. Yeah, one after the other. GG gets called as we shut down the third base, and Coffee fights back, putting a point on the board. GG, just catching Solar out of position, catching him off guard with his pants down. And to be fair, I'm sure Solar was frazzled by what was happening earlier with the Queen. Not saying that that Queen would have made or broken the defense, but I'm sure it threw Solar off a little bit. I don't want to make too many excuses, but Solar was very clearly distraught after realizing that the Queen was stuck. So yes, Coffee able to take advantage of the situation, able to just keep the aggression up, went for that Hellbat follow-up, which was unscattered. Solar did not have a Bailey nest. He barely had any Lings either, was caught off guard, and bam! We have a series. Coffee fights back. Let's go. Two supplies of map feature. True. I see in the chat. Coffee, be a gentleman and bounce the Queen over. Oh my god. As here we go, we're diving into our next game. The series will continue, and spawning in the top left-hand corner of Site Delta, we have our South Korean Zerg player, the Red Zerg, representing Team Vitality, leading the series, but taking a bit of a loss here. Can he bounce back? I mean, still one game away from becoming our champion. It is Solar. And sporting in the bottom right hand corner, we have the Chinese Terran player, the blue Terran representing Mystery Gaming, fighting back, putting a point on the board. Let's go! Off of the back of the stuck Queen, it is Coffee. Let us go. As we are going to be settling in, as we are going to be getting into our game once again. It's going to be a Rax on low ground. Looks like another 2Rax Reaper. Looks like another 2Rax Reaper variation from Coffee. Once again, going to be active. Meanwhile, Solar opening up with a hatch gas pool. This time a standard opener out of Solar. He won't go for a gasless build or a 15-15. This time his gas is going to be out of regular timing. Link speed will be out of regular timing as well. Here we go. Here we go. As Coffee, actually interesting, not going to Rax Reaper. It's going to be a Rax Expand. This is a bit of a greedier opener. The downside of this build is that your production is going to be exposed, but you're able to wall off a little bit faster. That's kind of the give and take here of this opener. This is the special build. I mean, technically 2Rax Reaper is also kind of a special build. But this is something that Special is a little bit more fond of, going for that factory to wall off here, and eventually an add-on swap. On-site Delta. Let's go. As Coffee doesn't go for an SCV scout, again a very greedy opener here. No SCV scout from Coffee, no Reaper scout from Coffee. It was Marine first, going for the Overlord. It means that if Solar was going for a fast gas or a fast pool or a Roach Rush or any kind of aggression, then Coffee would have no idea. Coffee would have absolutely no idea, and he'd be vulnerable to something like a Roach Ravager all-in. But as we can see, Solar's playing standard, and Solar even getting supply blocked, losing that Overlord. So this is kind of there's a bit of a give and take here for Coffee, with the no scouting, but also with cutting corners. CC is getting up and running, preserving our gas, going for the reactor, going for an add-on swap. The Ling is here to deny the add-on swap, so Coffee has to be careful. Ling does dip in, but won't quite make it through. Here comes our add-on swap, and Hellions are going to be on the way. If a Hellion production, Starport also on the low ground as well for the add-on swap if you want to go into a Starport, sorry, into a Tech Lab, into Banshees. Again, the natural's going to be quite congested as a result, and Solar is droning up. The mental damage. Even Björn can't do that Reaper. True. Björn wishes he could be Coffee. Aye. Kappa. Interesting. Okay, no add-on swap. Okay, so we're going for the tech lab on that Rex, working towards Stim. Meanwhile, it's going to be not Viking, but Liberator first. I mean, this makes sense. Remember, we killed the Overlord. The first Overlord went down. We don't need the Viking. Going straight for the Lib. Straight for more aggression. Hellions moving out. Liberator behind this. Coffee does dive into the mineral line. Ooh, no links to defend. No safety links. The drones getting roasted. The barbecue was real. 6 drones go down already, and we're not done. We're going into the main base. Links they pop out just now, but it might be too late. How many more can we get? 6 drones so far. We deny mining in the main base. This is good enough. Okay, damage still being dealt. Liberator on the way. More Hellions towards the natural. Solar getting pulled apart. No, we're going into the Hellions. Not like this. Not this way. Force back 10 drone kills in total. Here comes the Lib towards the main. But the Hellions are finally cleaned up against Solar. He was cutting corners. He was cutting lings and was punished for it. We're not done yet. Coffee going for his 3rd CC. Liberator into the main. Liberator towards that main base. Meanwhile, the wall's on the wall. No! The wall not quite open. Ooh, SCVs are going down. Coffee, it's his turn to be caught out. As things are cleaned up, Liberator does siege, only getting 1 drone in the main base. As we deny any kind of mining time here. So many drones not doing anything. Queen's trying to keep up. More Hellions on the way. This is a little bit abnormal, but Coffee just doubling down on more Hellion production. Does slip out across the map, but ooh, does overextend. This time Solar's ready. Yeah, this time Solar in position. Up. Ooh. Takes down 2 Hellions, 2 left. Liberator still poses a threat in the main. The Queen! Oh, the Queen goes down. Still no mining. The Hellions are cleaned up. Link's going for a counterattack, but oh, we are getting damage done. 2nd Liberator on the way. No shot. The double Lib harass. We're coming in. Back at home, the wall is up and running. Thankfully, this time the depots are raised. Liberator to the main base. It's going to be shut down. But the Liberator at the natural does zone that away. Does zone away those workers before being cleaned up. Okay, that 2nd Liberator was a little bit lackluster. A little bit more lackluster for Coffee. But we've gotten 15 drone kills in total. Very nicely done. Solar is re-droning, so you may be thinking like, oh, like he's, you know, he can sustain these losses. He's recovered. Not quite. All those workers could have been a 4th. We should be having like a 4th base, you know, additional workers, additional tech. Working towards an army. Solar is falling behind as a result of those drone losses. And is now taking into his lair. That is a 6-minute 30 lair timing. Getting into his double upgrades. Bailing Nest now on the way. As Coffee's getting his 3rd on an even base count with the Zerg. Here we go. Solar's going to be dipping in. Head up for the mineral line. Getting an SCV, getting 2. Not bad. 2 SCVs, not quite at that. Getting a 3rd, getting a 4. Oh my god, we're getting out of hand. We're getting out of control. And why exactly? Because Coffee's moving out with his Marines. Not much at home to defend. 5 SCVs go down. Aye, aye, aye. Coffee going for a stim timing. Stim is done, diving on top of the Queens, but we are in position. Solar will deflect this. Is going to be deflected. Solo holds, getting a 4th. Double expanding, getting a 5th base at the same time. Makes sense, just because we're a little bit behind, or we're not where we should be. And Coffee, trying to force that cancel, won't quite get it. Oh, it's going to be close! Do force the cancel. But thankfully for Solar, we double expanded. May have canceled 1/4, but we have another getting up and running. So Solar still in a decent position here, able to recover. Almost getting a medevac as well. As Coffee will follow us up with a push. Again, we only have our 5 rack setup here, but we're moving out with our 7-minute timing. I mean, now 8-minute timing. Again, the timings are a little bit wonky just because of the game state. Our goal to deny the 4th. Little does Coffee know that we've expanded elsewhere. He doesn't know about the real 4th base. He thinks he's doing more damage than he is. This base doesn't really matter too much as Solo's going for a big counterattack. Lings, they hit the third. Hatchery is denied. But again, Solar, he's okay. He can sustain himself. Can sustain himself as Solar, he's racing back home. Getting ready for the surround. Tanks a little bit late to siege. Yeah, 1, 2, 3 tanks going to be going down. We clean it up. The tanks do fall. Coffee is going to be forced back. We can see a secondary army here moving out towards the fourth. Getting a bit of read on what's going on. Again, the base is fully operational. We do force the pick up. Coffee getting a 4th CC. Again, there's no 3 base all in. It was only 5 Raxes, working towards a 4th base and additional gases. Coffee is going for a longer, later game. We're taking up into a 2nd factory, 2 more gases, 4th CC. And for the first time this series, we're kind of entering a more back and forth mid, not quite late game yet, but we're getting there. Hive is on the way. Oh, and we're rushing into an Ultra Cavern. Okay, Ling Bane into Ultra from Solar. Drop is coming back in. We deny the 5th. But we are double expanding. I guess denying the 6th base as the 5th is on the way. Solar in position. Covey working towards Drilling Claws. No Ghost Academy yet. Throwing down additional Raxes to be able to sustain, or for our economy to sustain our production. As we will soon take that 4th. Soon take that 4th base. As Coffee's been so adamant here, and it looks like that's a kill. Kill, not a cancel. 300 minerals down the drain. Not bad. Not bad here for Coffee. Meanwhile, Solar has maxed out. Solar maxing out, catching the drop. The creep is lackluster here on the left-hand side. Speaking of creep, oh my god, that's a lot of tumors on the way to make up for that. Solar recognizing how little control he has here towards the south. As we go for a Ling counterattack, catching SCVs. SCV's going to be going down, and Kobe forcing back the army. Now 11 SCVs do fall. Ultras on the way. Solar still maxed out, ready, poised to move out and try to break down this 4th. Coffee, meanwhile, going for his own triple drop. Still having a hard time keeping up. Again, bleeding out a lot of workers, having a hard time replacing them, and here comes Solar! Rolling in with his Ling Bane, Widowmine Zibble Burrow, and we got some decent connections, but not good enough. We break the 4th, we bust into the natural, busting into the main base as well. Ling's in every single base. And Coffee's being pulled apart. He just doesn't have the numbers he needs to defend. Doesn't have the supply. The boys being forced back to Bailey, crashing in. Ooh, big connection. 38, 40 SCVs go down. Link still wreaking havoc in the main base, and we are just pulling Coffee apart. Ultras have arrived. GG gets called. And Solar will take the series 3-1, becoming this week's ESL Open Cup Asia champion. GG. GG, well played. Congratulations here to Solar, as he does take it in the end, is our champion. I mean, he was the favorite player coming into this tournament, but shout out to Coffee, because Coffee made a series out of this, and Coffee did cause some upsets. Again, I feel like a lot of people looking at the bracket would have said, oh, it's going to be Solar and Showtime. It's going to be Solar and Showtime in the finals. No. Coffee had other things planned, as Coffee shut Showtime down in the semifinals, brought him down 2-0, very impressive stuff. And even here in this series, the score doesn't really tell the entire story. Coffee was able to fight back on Alcyone off of a wild situation, but even then, remember game 1? Remember on Golden Aura how Coffee opened up with a Hellbat push and almost straight up broke Solar, just caught him off guard with his pants down, Queens are falling, and Solar did take the game, did survive, but it was a very close one as well. Again, I mentioned before that Coffee is quite a strong player, did actually retire for a while, like last year or the year before that, did step away from the game, then came back, and Coffee's been looking impressive. He's been looking very impressive. There's something about these Chinese players, whether it's Coffee, whether it's Firefly, Cyan, Jeshi, they all can take maps and take series off of these top tier players. They do so quite regularly here, and yeah, I mean, they're not favored players by any means, but they've all been improving. They've all been getting better. They've all been getting stronger. I know that a lot of these players have been motivated because of Oliveira. I'm referring to when Oliveira was the world champion a year ago now. From that moment, the Chinese scene was, I want to say revitalized. I mean, it was invigorated, right? It was reinvigorated as they were motivated to improve, to compete, right? SC Boy was a big part of that as well. And that's why we've seen like a rise from players like Coffee, like Firefly, Cyan, Jeshi. They've all been improving, they've all been getting better, they've all been catching up with some of our other international players from Korea and from Europe. So GG, well played. Congratulations to Solar, but a shout out to Coffee for making a series out of this and making it to those finals. And with that, we're going to be wrapping up. You may be wondering to yourself, hold up, where's everyone else? You know, where's Stats? Where's Hero, Dark, Bjorn, Cure? They're all traveling. They're all traveling. They're all coming back from the United States. And I'm sure they'll be back here in time for Kung Fu Cup. Kung Fu Cup is in a couple of days. ESL Asia next week. WTL. You know, soon we're going to be back into our regular scheduled programming. But this week's ESL Open Cups are going to be a little bit different because of that. They're going to be a little bit different. What I'm referring to is that players are still traveling. Because of that, ESL Open Cup Europe and ESL Open Cup Americas, we could see some new champions. We could see some wild players rise up and challenge others and have deep runs and make some money, make some EPT points. It's a good opportunity for some of these other players that weren't traveling to you know, make a run and make a name for themselves. Now, what I will say about the European and the Americas region is MaxPax, right? MaxPax, he doesn't travel to offline events, he doesn't compete in offline events, so MaxPax is, or he should be there for both EU and Americas. So MaxPax is still going to be a constant in these online weeklies. We saw Showtime. Showtime didn't travel, so potentially MaxPax versus Showtime in the European weekly, but potentially. Likewise, Solar will most likely go to bed and wake up in time for Americas. So Solar, MaxPax, they're going to be the ones vying for the Americas weekly. I'm sure there are going to be others to challenge them, right? Like, I don't want to get ahead of myself. But players like Geralt, Christiana, right? Wayne as well, Nickerack. There's plenty of other European players to pose a threat to MaxPax and Showtime. Likewise, in the Americas weekly. The Americas weekly is going to be interesting because the Koreans are traveling. I don't know when they get to Korea, because ESL Americas is in 12 hours. By then, it's depending on flights, it's possible that maybe some of the Koreans will make it back home in time, and they might be able to play in ESL Americas. Maybe. I don't actually. Hold on. Hold on. Flight time from Korea to USA. Ooh, 14 hours. Never mind. It's a 14-hour flight, and the tournament is 12 hours from now. Maybe we might get some Koreans playing in ESL Americas. Slim chance. Other than Solar, of course. So, yeah, keep an eye for that. Keep an eye out for that. But with that, we are wrapping up. We are going to be wrapping up here tonight. And thank you so much for watching. Thanks so much for the support. I'm a little bit conflicted, just giving you guys a bit of a heads up. I'm a little bit conflicted because ESL Open Cup Europe is in 5 hours. Let me just double check. It's ESL Open Cup Europe is in how many hours time? 3 hours and 44 minutes. So just under 4 hours time is ESL Open Cup Europe. And the regular casters won't be covering it, right? Wardy is traveling. Like, it isn't just the players traveling, but Wardy is traveling, Rotterdam is traveling, and Zombie Grub as well. Like, a lot of the casters are going to be busy. They're traveling. They won't be there to cast. We did this last time for DreamHack Atlanta, where we decided to stay up and cast Europe just because no one else was casting. So I guess I could, but it's 10 p.m. Like, the tournament starts at like 2 a.m., like 2 a.m. in the morning, and it keeps going. And the problem is that if I stay up and cast Europe, I don't think I'm going to be able to stay up and cast Americas as well. Like, casting all three, it takes a toll, and I don't know if I can. But at the same time, if I don't think anyone's going to be casting Europe. I think Steadfast might, right? Like, Steadfast sometimes casts Europe, and Steadfast also wasn't traveling. He was casting from home, casting the side stream like us from home. So maybe Steadfast will be there for Europe. I know that Artosis will be casting America, because Artosis didn't travel. So Artosis, he's going to be casting Americas. That's going to be fine. Probably Steadfast will be casting Americas. Like, Americas will have coverage. Like, Dave Testa, Chicken Man, or at least Dave Testa wasn't traveling, so there's going to be plenty of coverage for Americas. Europe is maybe a different story, so yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Like, I would like to fix my sleep schedule and go to bed. We'll see. We'll see. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. Thanks so much for the support. I hope that there is coverage for ESL Europe. Fingers crossed that, you know, Steadfast cast it, or maybe one of the other community casters out there. Fingers crossed. Otherwise, thank you for watching. Thank you so much for the support. From our side, we will either do Europe or Americas, one or the other. I could try and do both. I could try and do both. I don't know. Maybe we do. Maybe I just brew some coffee, and maybe we do. Maybe I go for like a 2-hour nap. True. I could try to nap for 2 hours, do Europe, and then like nap for like 1 hour, and then do it. We'll see you soon. We'll see you next time. We'll figure it out. Otherwise, thank you for watching. Thanks so much for the support. Shout out to Solo, shout out to Kofi, and with that, we'll see you guys for some more StarCraft action. Whether it's Europe or Americas or both, we'll figure it out. We'll see you guys next time. See you guys next time. Ciao, Bobby, ciao. See you next time.